All right, hello everybody, and welcome to a quick conversation about the state of competitive Fortnite. I don't know. I'm here with Zaeraz and Typhoon, and we're just gonna talk a little bit about what's going on with the pro community right now, and what's going on with competitive Fortnite as a whole.
Everything.
Everything,
Everything.
everything's
Yes.
going on.
Yes.
I'm gonna start off by saying that right now, at this exact minute, which is for me 2:04 p.m. on August 31st. Fortnite competitive is pretty good right this exact minute, but that could easily change. Uh, as of a couple days ago, it was the worst it has ever been because we had mechs in the game and we had no turbo building, and everyone knows about that,
Yeah.
right?
Personally, I wasn't there. I was out. I was still camping when they released that one, so I came back to
So
like.
Typhoon's lucky. Typhoon didn't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah. Then, like, oh, can't do 90s on the .15 delay. That's like,
Yeah,
oof.
it's the equivalent of playing on 150 ping and building. No one likes that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15
I mean,
milliseconds.
competitive Fortnite could always get better. Like, different loot pools and maybe,
Yeah, I'd be more
yeah,
than
like
happy if they pulled out the auto sniper because I don't tend to use that much.
I would be happy if they pulled out the junk rift, if
Oh,
you.
Junkrift's
I'll be
not in
happy
right
if they
now.
vaulted the mech.
Wait, okay, I'm so dumb. Okay, you're gonna have
Junkrift's
to
not
edit
in
that
right
part
now.
out.
No,
Yeah,
no, we're
yeah.
gonna leave that in. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
And
okay,
the
Don't worry,
mech's
the
okay.
not
mech is
in.
still here.
Yeah, well, the mech's not in right this moment, so that's the other nice
I
part.
mean, it would be kind of nice if they just decided, like, okay, well, we have received feedback from the community. We will not be bringing the mech back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
But
not
to
gonna
get the
happen,
mech out of
though.
the game, think about this. It took Cypher PK uploading a video of himself literally in midair, like a mile away from a mech, dying because he got hit by stomp damage. Like,
Yeah,
the amount of stuff it took to get the mechs out of the game, insane.
yeah. But, like, for
Wow.
different loot pools, it would be nice to see the burst SMG go bye-bye.
Yeah.
And, also the drum
I don't know. I don't
shotgun.
know. Pump burst SMG is all right. I
The
just
drum
think,
shotgun, though.
yeah, there's some things that could just be gone. I'd be
Is
all
the
right
drum
with it.
shotgun a shotgun? We still don't know.
We still don't know. It's essentially an SMG.
Yep.
Yeah, I
I
don't
was
know.
happy to see because like when they nerfed turbo building, that like, it would have killed the game. The rest of the update was actually pretty good. Like they took away the storm flip, which was like OP in comp, but nobody used it in pubs. And then the drum gun, which was like good, but after they nerfed it, it
Yeah.
wasn't good anymore.
Yeah, drum gun had just become annoying, and it
Yeah.
was just kind of a waste in the loot pool.
Drum gun was too OP. It was like one of those guns where it would be nice to have it balanced, but at that state, nobody wanted it. Only everybody used it because it was the only gun that was like getting kills at that time, but everybody hated it.
Exactly. Like they added it back in, and it became one of the best guns in the game overnight. And then they nerfed it to the ground, and it became absolute garbage. And so yeah,
They
it was
should
just
Yeah.
have
a
found a
waste.
balance.
Yeah, I think that's one thing Epic has really struggled with. Just I guess the entire time is just getting a good competitive balance. Like I don't know. I guess
Oh yeah.
it's that way with every competitive game. Like, I mean, looking at what's considered like some of the best competitive shooters, like even things like CS:GO, like yeah, like CS:GO, Rainbow Six, like they've all got some like slight balancing issues. There's always going to be that one gun that's a little bit better than others, but I think at the end of the day,
Also,
Fortnite's never been that good at it.
I think that this is a put your tinfoil hats on, boys. But I think that they up the spawn rate of moving zones in Retail Row and at Tilted Town.
That might be a bit of a tinfoil hat one, but
But
you might
like
be onto something. I don't know.
because I have had so many moving zones and trios when it goes through Tilted Town.
Cough, cough, like 5 games ago.
Yeah, like 5 games ago, and then we had one that went straight through Retail. It's like
I've only ever had one that goes through Tilted Town, but I've had a lot that go through retail. And in-game retail gets a little bit
yeah.
annoying.
I mean, that's why
Yeah.
I always carry shockwaves around because if I ever enter those zones, I want to get out quickly.
Exactly. And that's actually something I'd like to talk about is the lack of rotational items.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I get it.
Chocolates are meta.
Yeah, well,
Like,
shockwaves are great. I think they're better than having impulses because they shake the game up a little bit. And then having launch
No
pads
fall
makes
damage.
sense. But there's so many glitches right now with drift boards, and of course the mech is currently pulled out of the
The
game.
worst
But
thing in
when
the
it comes
game.
back, it's gonna be trash. Um, I just think, like, as far as rotation goes, there's a really big imbalance. Like, you can no longer really land on the outside of the map, and
No,
people
you
start
need
to
yeah.
come in fast.
if
Or
late
with
game
the 100
rotations, you
health.
need to have max mats to get through, unless you have like a shockwave or a launch pad, because
Exactly.
everybody would be shooting at you.
Yeah. One thing I will say though is I do really like the current build changes. As someone who plays on 40 plus ping most of the time, like being able to actually
Yeah.
take a wall. Because I
Hmm.
mean, theoretically, at this point, you can take a wall as long as you're under 150 ping.
I mean, yeah, now I can play on NAS and still be able to like take walls, but
Hmm.
just be like gunfire. That'd be
Yeah,
delayed a bit.
and it's also more
I mean, like,
fun. I don't know. I'd say like it's a lot easier to counter someone who's holding height. Like I don't know,
yeah.
end game, especially in solos, just because they can't really like if you have a SMG or a minigun, something that has that really high rate of fire, you can really just knock people off of height a little more easily now. So as long as like they're playing smart, they'll survive. But also they can't just, sit height with like an RPG and get an automatic win.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um yeah, no, I'd say like I don't know. I also think it's kind of nice not being able to just hold walls now when someone's spraying at you. Like I feel like I
Yeah.
play a lot smarter now. Like I move a lot more just within like, end game. Like it's no longer just I'm hiding in a 1 by 1 in solos. It's like, maybe I'm in a 2 by 2 or a 3 by 3 just so I can like have that mobility to go around if I start getting pressured.
Hmm. If anybody's watched my stream, like I'm a really good player, but it's hard for me to improve when people with mechs or the drum gun maybe. The worst thing that needs to get nerfed is the stinks. 10 stinks are like annoying to deal with.
Yeah, I think what they should do to Stinks what they did with minis, like, drop the count. So maybe
Nerf,
like,
yeah.
well,
3,
yeah,
4.
I think maybe instead of picking them
Find
up in
in
groups of
stacks of
3,
one.
you pick them up in
You pick
stacks
them
of.
up.
I was gonna say stacks of
2.
2, and then it maxes out at 4, right?
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
great, cause yeah, like I had a game like that, yesterday. I was playing, Division 10 games, and we were just getting pressured because we had one team. They had 2 people with maxed out stinks, and you know, 2 out of the 3 members of our trio went down to just stinks because there
Hmm.
was nowhere we
Me,
could go. We didn't have enough rotation to like pop a launch pad to get out of there or anything. So we ended up just having to try to tunnel away from it. And there's
I
only
think
so
what they
much you can
should
take.
do to Stinks is they should make it so that it only does 2 or 3 damage, but it can stack. I think that would be.
Hmm.
I don't know,
Because
but
that way you have to use them a lot wiser.
Because if you want to really like 5 damage, like a stink is about 15 seconds. Like 5 damage would kill somebody within 20.
yeah. And so yeah, I think
Yeah,
actually yeah, like if they had something where it was like 2 damage and it was stackable, I think that would make
yeah.
some
Hmm.
sense. It'd be good.
Like
But
people would actually see value in picking them up, but like it would be
exactly.
hard to preserve them.
They would
Because yeah,
take
like
more
if you had like
skill.
one person who was just like hiding in a 1 by 1, you could go like, am I gonna throw all of them and get that high damage, or am I gonna throw one of them in case they move? I think that would make sense.
I think it would just add a little bit more skill to something that doesn't take a whole lot of skill because you can damage people through walls.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah.
One addition I think the game could use right now though is someone could bring back the bounce pads. Because I don't know.
Yes.
I was just thinking like I don't know, playing the other day, right? In comp Fortnite, you always need to carry heals, and at this point, it's almost given that you're carrying shockwaves. Because if you're not carrying shockwaves, end game becomes a nightmare. So
It
Yeah.
is.
so yeah, if you're carrying like at minimum, 2 things of heals like minis and chug splashes, for example, and then you're carrying shockwaves, that gives you 2 slots for weapons, and so like a lot of people will just carry, an AR and a shotgun. But then you get to the problem
Yeah.
like, what happens if you find like a heavy sniper or something like that that's like super useful? Are you gonna drop heals for it? And then if you get stuck in a bad situation, just die because you have no heals? Or are you gonna drop your shockwaves and essentially just give up your end game? So like if they brought back bounce pads or something, like I would at least think it'd be easier to do something like, drop my shockwaves, carry that sniper, and then maybe have that ability to like, go into people's boxes, like, hit that 300 damage headshot for like the automatic knock.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I think that they should bring back Rift gears. Like that, those there was nothing really wrong with them, and they weren't OP, but they would take up a slot, and you can only stack two.
Yeah.
They were balanced. Like if you use them and you needed to rotate, then you could get shot out of the air. But like if you needed to rotate, then you could just use those and get to your uh, new base in seconds, which I think is like
Exactly. Yeah, like
balanced. Because like, yeah,
yeah, and it's also hard, like something like a shockwave, it's so easy to mess up. Like if you have your whole trio and you're all trying to rotate and only one of you has shockwaves, like getting all three people to the exact same spot is a lot harder.
yeah,
So
like
like having like, two rift to goes, like it's only two free rotations, but at least that way you don't end up with someone who gets stuck in a bad situation. Like, I was
Yes.
playing, yesterday once again in those Division 10 lobbies. I hit a shockwave on me and my teammate. We were like, two left out of three people. And we went up and he ended up getting, glitched into someone's box. So he got stuck in someone's box and ended up losing out on the shotgun fight. Just because
Mm-hmm.
like
yeah,
I went through a box, but then he ended up just stuck in one. So like shockwaves are so messy when you're trying to move multiple people.
yeah. Especially when you're trying to move multiple people, you're almost guaranteed to lose one of your people, one of your teammates in the rotations, because they're going to be separated, and most likely all of you are going to be taking storm damage.
It's
So
Yeah.
not a
like,
most likely; it's a confirmed fact. Because like,
yeah,
unless all of you guys are standing back to back, like one is behind yellow and the person who's on the shockwave is in the front, and you're all going in the same direction, then like you'll have two. You'll have one go to the south, one go southeast, and then the other one go like east.
yeah.
It's absurd.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys, are there any other topics you want to cover, or should we call it quits for this session?
I mean,
Hmm.
like, I was gonna say something, and this sounds like a bit like
Are we gonna do those?
crazy, but
Fortnite's
like I
gonna
think
bomb
that they
something like
might
that.
that having different POIs would be something that would be really good and competitive, especially with like the POIs changing every week because of the new Rift beacons. It's like Fatal's gonna change. Fatal's like a huge drop spot for some players, and like Tilted Town should just be taken out completely because you can't even
Brought
build
back the
there.
tilted towers.
Yeah, if they just
Yeah.
brought back Tilted Towers and regular competitive, I think that would be
Yeah. Or
another
even, you
thing.
know what they could do? Like, I think this would be nice, and it's something they kind of did with oh, what were they called? With the wind
Toxic
tunnels.
Depot.
Was like, how no, season 9 competitive, all those slipstreams would just shut off after like circle 5,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
just so people wouldn't get stuck in them. Circle 5's a lot, but maybe if after circle 3, just all like the special effects in the different like rift zones disappeared, so you didn't have to worry about zombies, you didn't have to worry about not being able to build or like break
yeah.
stuff. Because like
And
even
another
that,
thing
like,
that's like really OP is that if you go into if you have movement zones to the I forgot what it's called, but it's where like you get 100 shield in
oh,
seconds.
Pandora, yeah, for
Yeah,
Borderlands.
you wouldn't need a heal. Like you might as well just drop all your heals
Just the Walking Dead.
for more rotation because you're not going to need a heal. You're going to get 100 shield in
Exactly.
seconds, and it's so difficult
Kill.
uh to kill anyone. And then turtling is
Yeah.
even more OP in there because you're not going to know where they are, and by the time you figure out where they are, it's already at 100 shield. So like I think
I think
that
that's true because yeah, like normally when you're fighting endgame, yeah, you can get like a couple picks on someone, and then if you see them a minute later, a couple more tags and they're out. Like that's simple. But if you're in Pandora, yeah, like you get a couple shield tags, you might as well have just like throwing your bullets out of your inventory. There's no point.
Yeah. And then like even if they are box fighting, like they can just turtle and they're already at 100 shield. Like
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah. So I think that like the entire idea of getting 100 shield like that should just be taken out completely. Especially because if you go there in early game, you can get someone, you can get them whited. If they fall back, they're already gonna have shield. Like you might as well not even push.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
I think it was also another big shout out to Cypher PK. He was talking about like a pro strategy now would be to just like if you're dropping somewhere like Paradise, you just glide
Mm,
right through the very top of that bubble over Pandora. You get yourself back
yeah,
shield before you land.
yeah. I
It's
heard
just
Yeah.
about someone that did that and they were on their way to paradise.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Because like if you do that, like there's nothing anyone else can do about that. It's smart, mind you, like it's very smart, but
it's also
I'm not sure if
something
that should
that
be
I
in
think
competitive.
something that should be brought back is cannons because they weren't OP, but if you needed them, you could use them.
Yeah. Or even, yeah,
Also,
like, I don't know,
yeah,
cannons are just like, geysers or just more rifts like around the map. Because, yeah, there's like, what, like four different spots where you can go to get natural rifts, but that's not enough, especially considering that, the big one is Loot Lake and it's in literally the middle of the map. Like, that's where everyone
yeah,
needs to go. It's not where people are leaving from.
yeah. So like I think because like cannons were one of those things. They weren't OP. There was nothing wrong with them, but if you needed them to rotate, you could use it.
Yeah.
And like geysers, they should definitely bring back because it makes going to the jungle biome not as worth it as anywhere else because you have a very bad rotation.
Exactly. Like, you can try to go all the way up and hit pressure plant, but it's like sometimes you don't have time for that and you just end up having to like look for drift boards, and it's just a mess.
Like we had today we were waiting for a trio to get back online, and we were trying to play arena, but we couldn't because it's only solos and trios. Like, why would you remove duos? Like, yeah, you're gonna have more trio tournaments, but duos is still fun to play.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've heard the reason that like they didn't want to make queue times really long, but like the only time I've ever had like any problem with queue times was when Fortnite decided to ruin its own game. You know,
Hmm.
like yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think that's a good point. Like if they brought back duos, I think they'd still be good enough. Like I don't mind getting a 2 minute wait for trios. I don't mind getting a 2 minute wait for solos. Like it's not that bad, especially if I have duos
yeah,
back. Because there's so many times where like you don't have a third, or maybe there's like four people, and it's just like, what are you gonna do, right? You could go play
yeah.
duos, you could go play squads, but you also want
I
to be
thought,
getting actual practice, not just stomping mechs around.
yeah, at the end of season 9, I thought that they were gonna. I really was hoping. And I actually thought that they were gonna bring arena squads, and but then they
Same.
didn't do that, and they took out trios.
Hmm.
At least, like if they're not trios but duos, I mean, at least if they're gonna take out duos, then at least put squads in.
I think that's a
Hmm.
good
Like I
point.
think,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like trios, I think makes sense because it was so popular. But at the end of the day, I think they made a mistake in removing duos, and that's something that a lot of people are really asking for. So hopefully
yeah,
they keep up, and just like start adding in more good updates. But I don't know, we might need to do another one of these if they add in some other stupidly broken item like the junk rift.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
All right.
Like okay,
Well, it was good talking to you guys. Yeah, no, good luck. I mean, competitive Fortnite is always a little bit messy, and I mean, we're just gonna need to see what Epic Games decides to throw at us next.
yep.